It's time once again, the mid-month update to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium that adds a heap of games to our libraries while sneaking a few out the back door while we're not looking. Do me a favour and drop me a like to keep this series going, and in return, I'll show you every game coming and going this month. The following games are yours from Tuesday, July 15th, with one coming a little sooner and one a little later. We'll start with those two to stop confusion. I'm Adam, hello there, let's do this! The headliner of the month is Cyberpunk 2077, and get this in your ear holes, it's in your catalogue right now, today, July 9th on PS4 and PS5. The action RPG, which was honestly a total shambles on release, but over time that was fixed and it's been improved many times over the last 4 years. Set in first person here in the dystopian Night City, we play as a gun for hire, with 3 primary playstyles to master. Of course we can shoot first and ask questions later, we can hack everything in sight, or we can become an engineer, as in this world everyday humans implant technology directly into themselves, called cyberware, and that's how we get upgrades and improvements while playing. Should we not like those 3 options, we can try to talk our way through encounters, because there are countless branching dialogue options to perfect, with multiple endings to unlock depending on alliances that you form and break during the course of the game, and the constant presence of the breathtaking Keanu by your side. Cyberpunk 2077 will take over your life if you let it, with the story lasting about 30 hours, yet completionists will need between 70 and 100 to get the elusive platinum. Metacritic currently has Cyberpunk at an 86 out of 100, so download it right now, see it for yourself. Have a look-see at Abiotic Factor on the PS5, and right away I should say this one drops on July 22nd and not the 15th. Inspired by Half-Life, especially the way it looks, Abiotic Factor is a multiplayer survival game as we explore a mysterious facility filled with creatures, monsters and aliens. Luckily we have a crafting bench and can build anything we can imagine, from armor to weaponry to deadly traps to furniture, because you live here now, you may as well be comfy. The further we venture into the facility, the more anomalies we encounter, and we can face them head on or rely on stealth and strategy. In most occasions, it's down to player choice. And speaking of players, be careful around others, as the urge to push a buddy into a high-speed fan is hard to resist. We can play this alone or with up to 6 players in one lobby and share the experience, which looks to be the best way to play. And that way players can focus on their interests, like resource management or base building, or being the one who goes out on loot runs and usually doesn't come back. Right now, Abiotic Factor has a 96% approval rate on Steam and over 23,000 reviews. It debuts on PS5 on July 22nd. Will you try it? Game 3 is Banishers Ghost of New Eden, an action RPG from 2024 on the PS5. We play as a pair of ghost hunters madly in love with each other, and of course immediately one of them falls and becomes a ghost herself. As we banish more of the spirits in New Eden, the moral essence of the game becomes clear. Should we send our loved one to the other side, or should they stay here with us by our side in ghost form? And that logic is applied to all the missions we undertake. Combat itself blends the living and the dead, as the pair instantly swap between each other, with a sword and rifle as Red, and the spectral powers, usually punches, as Antea. It starts out quite basic, dodge, parry, light attack, heavy attack, but over time each character unlocks new abilities depending on the choices you make, so that should add some replay value before the final gut-wrenching decision. Expect to spend upwards of 20 hours to roll credits and about 60 for the Platinum Trophy. Banishers Ghost of New Eden is yours from July 15th and has an average review score of 78 out of 100. Another RPG wanting your time is New World Aeternum. We awake from a shipwreck, washed up on the shores of a mysterious island, and get to exploring, because this is an MMO, a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. We begin by scavenging resources to build and craft items, and slowly evolve to revamp settlements and go on quests that take skill and weaponry to overcome. This is primarily a PvE game, but it does include player versus player shenanigans if you want it to. We can form small groups of players to become an alliance to work together in this untrusting world, and that's when the constant allure of leveling and upgrades takes over, as the content drip feeding begins as our abilities slowly increase, unlocking more challenges to overcome. New World Aeternum has an average review score of 7 out of 10 and takes about 300 hours to get the platinum. Good luck with that. Over to our sim games. We first have Planet Zoo Console Edition, where our sole focus is to build the ultimate wildlife park. set up in a very similar way to Planet Coasters if you've played those. It's a management sim effectively. We create habitats and curate vast landscapes to house animals, making them happy. There are 4 game modes to play through. We can embark on a globe-trotting campaign in career mode. We can build a network of interconnecting zoos in franchise mode. Challenge mode gives us increasingly tough demands to overcome. And finally sandbox mode, which is the most stress-free mode, as the pressures of timing and finance are not really here. You can just do your own thing and embrace your picture of the perfect zoo. Planet Zoo is only on PS5 and takes about 100 hours to get the platinum, with an average review score of 81 out of 100. Another sim this month is Tropico 6, a construction, management and political sim, or in other words, you become a dictator of your own tiny empire and choose how you want people to live. In this one, we'll be building cities from its road layout to its infrastructure and how much influence you and your military have over the inhabitants. Do you plan to keep the population happy and thriving and open to the world, or do you make every decision to control them? Tropico 6 hits PS5 and PS4 on July 15th and is rated 7 out of 10. Game number 7 is Risk of Rain 2 on the PS4 and PS5. The third-person roguelike shooter that can be played alone or online with 3 more friends in co-op. We crash land on an island and fight our way through waves of enemies. That's it, over and over again. The hook is finding and upgrading our weapons and abilities, as many of them do not have any fixed parameters, allowing for some ridiculous builds that can shred bosses. From crit chance multipliers to extra jumps in the air, from everyday weapons to summoning black holes, Risk of Rain 2 is loved by the roguelike community, who keep coming back for one more run just to see what they can unlock in their logbook this time around. With an average of 85 in user reviews, Risk of Rain 2 is a game that you can come back to for years and still see something new. 10 hours are needed for your first time to roll credits, and anywhere from 20 to 150 are needed for the platinum, as it's totally random. And finally, in extra this month, a massive game. Wow, Bluey the video game. I know you're shocked by such a great game entering the catalogue, I feel it too. There are 4 zones to explore with easy puzzles to solve, and fans of the show can even look around locations from the TV show. With an average review score of 6 out of 10, it'll take less than 3 hours for the platinum. I can already tell you're going to get the platinum, aren't you? Me too. Still haven't found a game? Let me give you a suggestion. And with the summer break here, people have more time on their hands, and this month I suggest Like a Dragon Ishin on both the PS4 and PS5. This was added to our library at the same time as GTA 5 came back and Dying Light 2 released, and a bunch of other games which overshadowed Ishin. That's why I'm bringing it back up now. It's a Yakuza game without all the story baggage of that series, and instead takes the cast back in time to the late Edo period of Japan, with a robust combat system that blends 4 different fighting styles, such as a katana-wielding swordsman, a pistol-toting gunman, and even a dancer build. If you're new to Yakuza games, this is a great starting point, as all the staples are here, from hack and slash action to the open world exploration to gambling side games and even singing karaoke, all alongside the core storyline of finding your father's killer. And as it's technically a side project to Yakuza, you can dip in and out without remembering anyone's backstory. And that story takes about 20 hours to get through, but there's over 100 hours for completionists out there. So if you haven't found something to play, give Like a Dragon Ishin a try. Alas, it's the time in the video where games leave our library and vanish into the ether. Luckily, there are only 6 games this time, but that does include some heavy hitters, like Dying Light 2 Stay Human. This was going to be my suggested game this month. Bad timing, right? As the sequel comes out next month. Typically, it's being removed. The parkour-infused zombie survival game on both PS4 and PS5 leaves on July 15th. So does Crisis Core Reunion. The OG PSP game has been dragged up to date and tells the story of events leading up to the iconic Final Fantasy VII. Also saying bye is Remnant 2, the third-person Souls-like shooter, which was praised for not simply copying FromSoft's style of play like the hundreds of copycat games we see every year. Bye bye Remnant 2. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords leaves, and so does Vampire the Masquerade. And even a PSVR 2 game leaves, say au revoir to Job Simulator. If you have those games downloaded, you will be locked out of them on your console on July 15th, so enjoy them while you've got them. Or buy them, of course, your choice. Let's move over to the premium tier of PS Plus, which may be called Deluxe in your country. And we have 2 Twisted Metal games from the PS1 era, making the bump up in quality. They should look better than the footage you're seeing here. Twisted Metal 3 and 4 continue the long-running vehicular combat game in which we mod our ride with boosts and weapons and attempt to be the last one standing in this destruction derby. The winner gets to meet the mysterious organizer of the event, Calypso, who will grant them a single wish regardless of cost. And then in the fourth game, we attempt to overthrow Calypso, because everyone wants power. The rewind function on all PS Plus Classic games will be super useful in this one in those really tight moments. They are yours to download from July 15th. Okay, so that's our month, 11 games in total. Are you happy, sad, delighted, mad? Feel free to sound off in the comments below. I'll be around to see what's going down. I'm Adam, you're awesome, it's been a pleasure. See ya!